This is My Hero Academia Plus Ultra. Manga, anime, news and more. Plus Ultra.
Welcome to episode 4 of the My Hero Academia podcast. This week we have a small new segment, and then we'll be covering anime episode 52, which is called Create the Ultimate Moves, and manga chapter 190, entitled His Start. My name is Sophie.
And my name's Kendra. And now, really quickly into the news segment. It's going to be pretty short. The My Hero Academia movie, Two Heroes, came out at Anime Expo, and some people have been comparing it basically to being an anime diehard. That's Mother's Basement who said that. He did an awesome video where he did a non-spoiler recap of the movie. I definitely recommend checking it out if you're interested in seeing whether or not you might like the movie. I think he even has timestamps of where you can skip the spoilers in it, so definitely check that out. And finally, Horikoshi is coming to San Diego Comic-Con on July 21st. I don't think any of us are going there because it's expensive, and by the time it was announced, it was already sold out. So basically, whoever's going there is just super lucky. They're giving out a lot of cool stuff, like some posters and and other stuff like that. So if you're going to San Diego Comic-Con, take lots of pictures, have fun, and worship Horikoshi from afar.
So on to our anime recap. This week, the storyboard writer is Shinji Ishihara, episode director Satoshi Takafuji, and there are 2 animation directors, Yoshiyuki Kodaria and Takashi Mirai. I apologise if I have pronounced those incorrectly. I did my best. Okay, so the episode starts and we have the new opening, which is called Make My Story, and it's performed by Lenny Code Fiction. This is the 5th My Hero Academia opening. We also have a new ending, which is called Long Hope Philia, and performed by Misaki Suda. At the start of the episode, we get a recap of All Might telling Izuku that he's very proud of himself because he jumped into fire this time and he didn't get hurt. It seems that Izuku was dreaming this, and he wakes up in his dorm room thinking that he's there and he's not at home anymore. We then see him greeting Ida in the bathroom to brush their teeth. Everyone else seems to be having their breakfast, so I don't know if they're just weird people.
Sorry, one thing I don't get is that they're not even on the same floor. Those people are all on different floors. So, and they also have their own bathrooms in their room, so why are they brushing their teeth in the same place? It doesn't actually make sense.
They must have gone to breakfast and then brushed their teeth after, maybe brought them down with them.
And I love Ida's robot. He has to move his arm as he brushes his teeth. And your theory of robot Ida is gaining traction.
We also have a quick scene of them all eating breakfast. They're all talking. They seem to be having a good time, except for Bakugo, who's just angrily looking out the window. We then quickly see Izuku outside on his way to school. That he, as the narrator, is declaring that he'll be the next top hero.
Damn you!
President Izuku makes a very angry-looking face staring at the sky. The angriest we've seen him for a while. His inner thoughts are much more ragey than I thought they'd be. We then cut to Shoto Ozawa, who explains that they will be focusing on the provisional license exams. He says that having a hero license bears great cost to human life, and that's why the test is so hard, with only 50% of people passing, which makes Mineta in particular look very spooked. And to pass it, they'll need 2 special moves. This is when the door opens, and Midnight, with a very sexy pose, standing behind it
really
with
cool,
Cementos and
plays
Ectoplasm.
as they enter in. It's like, or not even that, it's just it hypes up the scene, it gets your energy up.
I hadn't noticed the music then. Kirishima, Kaminari, Ishido and Sero then get very excited at the term super moves, and they start to think that it's like a normal school but superhero-esque. Izuku looks excited though nervous with a sweat drop, and Ectoplasm says that the ultimate moves will be sure to get a win. Cementos says that their moves should be so inaugurated in their body that no one can copy it, and battling is seeing how much you can force it on your opponent. It looked to me like they made Cementos more muscular, but Midnight then starts talking while still doing her sexy pose. She must have done that. She did the sexy pose outside the room. She must have walked across the room still doing the sexy pose and held it while talking to them. Midnight says that the moves will then define them as heroes, and without them they will become endangered to being extinct.
Sorry, I just love that with they do a pan up of all the heroes and they pan up on her and it feels like it's just like an extra focus on her boobs.
Then Ozawa says that he'll meet them in the gym and explain more, and Bakugo just looks unimpressed. We then cut to Gym Gamma, or Training Dining Land. It's the first time we've seen it, isn't it? Yeah, this is the first time, and at first it just looks like a massive empty warehouse. Ishido, Yuraka and Izuku are taken back by the name, but then Cementov explains that he's the one that made the gym and it can be changed for each student's needs, which is where the dining part comes to.
Do you know that also TDL, Tokyo Disneyland is what it's similar to? That's why they say a certain mouse will be mad at us.
Ah, I didn't know that. I didn't know if they were talking about the principal, Nezu.
Oh, no! They're talking about Mickey Mouse, I think.
Good insight. Cementos is such an asset to the school.
He's so nice and cute. I love him. He's so good. I love his little ponytail too. I love him.
He's so helpful, like using his cement to create the schools and now using it. That must save them so much money on training grounds. Ida then jumps the gun a little bit and asks why they need ultimate moves for the exam, which I don't know. That sounds a bit stupid to me. A stupid question. Ozawa then reprimands him slightly and says that he's going to tell them, so Ida should calm down first. He goes on to explain that the test examines how well students save people from various different incidents, while also assessing the students' ability to do various things like gather information, communicate, and make decisions each year. And each year they have different tests. Midnight is not doing her sexy pose anymore. She's given that up. And she says that fighting ability is what's most important there, and that's why they should be prepared with their ultimate moves. We see Izuku have another sweat drop while Bakugo just looks angry. Cementos says that not being influenced by other things and acting consistency will make one great on the front lines. He then smiles, which is so cute. Oh yes, Ectoplasm then explains that ultimate moves don't have to be for attacking, and he references Ida's Recipro Burst, which makes Ida super happy, and I've nicknamed it the Valor stance.
Ballast?
The Valor.
Oh, Valor.
Valor, yeah, like knights of old. Especially when he's in his armour, and he lifts his head up, doesn't he, and he sort of puts his fist to his heart.
His armor looks scary. Like, he looks like a villain in it. I don't know why. It just scares me.
There is something imposing about armour, especially where you can't see someone's face. It sort of like dehumanises them.
Same. And same for Zero, too. His, the shaded, helmet part. I'm just like, it's kind of creepy. I think I just don't like masks.
Can't trust someone if you can't see their face. Especially their eyes.
Yes!
Sato then, it seems to click in his mind, and he says that, so a move should be something that makes them feel like they're going to win, which All Might agrees with, and she gives him a wink, some non-subtle flirting with her students. And she references Cammy Woods' lacquered chain prison, which is the one that he used to restrain the League of Villains. And she says it's the ultimate perfect super move. We then go back to Ozawa, who says that though the camp was cancelled, their quirk training was part of what they needed to obtain the super move, so they should be on their way. Cementos then starts creating massive pillars, while Ozawa continues to say that they will work on their super moves for 10 days until semester starts. I thought it had already started. So that was new to me.
No, because I think they got interrupted during the summer camp, and then they had a few days or a week off or something, or maybe just a few days, and they go back again. And I think it's still summer. They don't even get a summer break. They go to the training camp, they get attacked, and then right away they're doing the training. And later on they mention how short of a time frame the whole series has been in, and it's so fast. So much happens in such a short period of time. And that's not necessarily a good thing.
I think they had a week off before it, because that's when they did the little swimming thing, isn't it? But it's not very long. And he goes on to say they should also think about their costumes and how they'll work with their quirks. And to complete it, they'll need a plus ultra mentality. The students are all very excited, except Koda just looks nervous and Jiro looks angry, which I thought was a bit strange. Kaminari's pulling a bit of a villainous looking face, saying that he's excited. And Izuku just looks nervous and he's wondering what he should do. We then see that Ectoplasm has split himself into his different clones who are helping the students individually. First of all, he's with Ojiro, who is attacking him, but Ectoplasm tells him off and says that he's fighting like someone who just has a tail. It's all expected. And Ojiro is flat on the ground. He looks upset and he thinks, oh no, I'm being too normal again. Which is the second time we've seen this. I wonder if that's his big hang-up. He thinks he's too normal and he won't stand out.
Because he just has a tail. He needs to find a way to be something more than that. So he'll probably end up being, like, flashy or something. That'd be kind of funny.
I am interested in how he can develop things with his tail.
Make it hold a gun.
Oh.
You'll never expect that.
Make it hold a gun.
The gun tail here. I am calling it now.
Ectoplasm, who is talking to Mina and showing her a different way to shoot that acid, which makes it go even further. Mina becomes very excited about this. We then cut to Momo, who we didn't see him training with Momo in the manga, so this has been added in. But she's focusing on creating two things at once. And at first I thought the objects were going to come out of her boobs, because she does such a big inhalation where she's really, really sticking her chest up, and then she suddenly dips forward and no metal comes out of her elbows, which I'm glad it didn't come out of her breasts.
Yes, thank you. And I also thought it was going to be two separate things that she'd have to concentrate on making, like, two completely different things. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, that'd be difficult to do at first, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes, I guess they're starting her on something small.
Oh, I'm sure she'll get to it. And then we go to Izuku. Ectoplasm tells him off because he's just staring up at everyone else, thinking about what he should do. And he hits him. Ectoplasm hits him round the head.
Oh. It's training. You gotta think fast.
Izuku says he's still not sure what he should do because his hands and his arms are so injured. And Ectoplasm agrees with him, saying that his quirk style isn't consistent enough. So instead of working on super moves, he should work on just being able to utilise his quirk better. All Might then turns up behind Ozawa and says that even though he wasn't invited, he's there because he has nothing else to do. I'm not buying that. No one's buying that. You love these students, All Might. That's why you turned up.
Oh, yes.
Ozawa sort of reprimands him, saying that he should focus on recuperating, but All Might wants to be there, and he stares up at Izuku, thinking that he's still having trouble. We then see Bakugo, who is going mad, and he's destroyed one of Ectoplasm's cones. All Might and Ozawa...
Sorry, I thought for a second that he was attacking Deku, but he's attacking his own clone. But I thought for a second he was attacking, like, Deku's clone, and I was like, what? But he's not doing that.
I wonder if Ectoplasm can make his clones look like different people.
Ooh.
All Might and Ozawa watching him, agreeing that he's got so much stronger. And even floating Uraka is watching him impressed. Sato, again, is eating cake. Oh no, this is the first time we see him eating cake.
Mm-hmm.
Sato's eating his cake, looking impressed. Hagakure remarks that he even had a move and a name for it in the entrance exam. So she must have been in the same cohort as him.
Yeah, that's what confused me too. I mean, like, we didn't see her, but obviously... Or wait, was he... Deku and Bakugo were in the same test, right?
No, they were in different groups because that's when Bakugo said, they're trying to split people in different schools up so they can't work together.
Okay, that makes sense.
So Hagakure, I'm guessing, must have been in his group. Though I don't know how she passed the entrance exam just on her own, unless she went up behind them and, like, pulled their circuits out.
I think that's what it said. Like, I think Horikoshi said something, basically, where it boiled down to she could get... They have a shutdown button on them or something, and she could find it because they couldn't see her. So it was just like, you decided to disable the robots or, like, make them stick like Mineta did.
Oh, I love that. She just went round turning their off switch.
Pretty much.
So yeah, he's obviously been practicing this and thinking about it, like, for a long time. Mm-hmm. Izuku continues. Izuku is then looking around, and we see Mineta talking to Kaminari about moves, and he's saying that for years since he was a child, he's thinking about a special move called Great Rush. And Kaminari is also really excited, saying that they've all been thinking about it for so long, and he likes the idea of having an electric sword, which would be pretty cool.
And I wonder, for electric sword, is that like a lightsaber, or is it a Yu Yu Hakusho reference and it's a spirit sword? Which one? I want to know which reference it is.
I guess it could be anything. Like, even if he had an actual sword from if he gets an actual sword from the support group that maybe has like wires in it that he can transfer his electricity into.
Ah, that'd be smart.
I hope he gets an electric sword.
Please. He needs to learn how to sword fight as well, so it's like an extra step he needs to learn.
Imagine if we see him fencing with Aoyama. Aoyama would definitely be the type to fence.
Yes.
All Might then comes up to Izuku, and he tells him that he's still trying too hard to imitate him, and that's what he should work on. Izuku then, as All Might is walking off, he asks him what he means, but All Might goes over to Kirishima instead and explains to him that he should work on bulldozing through things rather than thinking of any fancy tricks because of his quirk. But then in his mind we see him, All Might, thinking to himself, saying that he can't give Izuku all the answers. That's not what a good teacher does. He then goes over to Jiro. We don't see the advice he gives her, but we do see her looking very happy.
And he calls her Shoujo, just like Shoujo Jiro or whatever. It's just cute because it's like young lady.
Oh, he's so polite. And Azawa's wondering what he's doing before he sees his teaching book in his back pocket. And then he pulls a Azawa shocked face, which we don't get to see very often.
And I just want to say the book is called Even Dummies Can Be Teachers, Easy Education Theory. So it's literally teaching for dummies.
We then go back to Izuku again, who's going to the development studio to ask about his costume, and he's thinking that he'd like braces for his arms or something so that he doesn't get as much throwback when he uses it. We also then see Ida and Yuraka are walking to the same place. Yuraka's explaining that she's focusing on floating her body and she'd like more mobility when she's in the air. And Ida wants to reduce the heat from his Recipro so he can use it for longer. And as Yuraka is going to the door, it blows up and throws Izuku away, startling everyone. And we see a lot of...
I remember in the manga, I think for a second we thought like the villains were attacking or something. It was kind of funny in the anime, they did it like without music, so you could kind of feel that it was ominous because like the music kind of cut out. So it's kind of cool that they kind of like set the mood a bit.
We just see a lot of mist, and then we see Power Loader, and he's reprimanding a laughing person, don't know who they are yet, telling them they shouldn't just create whatever they want because it leads to these explosions. The mysterious person then keeps chuckling and says that Edison quoted that failure is the mother of invention. So even if what is created doesn't work, it's not a waste of time and they don't care. The mist then clears and we see Hatsumi Mei on top of Deku with a very booby shot, and both Yuraka and Midoriya at the same time just say, "Boobies!" And that's the end of part 1.
I just remember like that boob fall on is what Horikoshi decided to end manga chapter 100 on. And I remember being so angry because I was just like, really? Like 100th like chapter is where you usually do like a cool reveal or like you have like a cool moment, but instead it's just like, oh, we're gonna go to development studio and Deku gets boobed. But I guess like I'm glad he didn't. I remembered it as him like getting a face full of boob. So at least it was just like he fell on top of him and he looked up at the boobs. So this like it's slightly better.
Yeah. See, I didn't really mind it because I think because it's all set in school, just teenage boys and even actually teenage girls really when you're still developing are just obsessed with boobs.
Yeah, they have very much like one track mentality. And we get the little like info cards for them. We learn that Deku likes pork cutlet bowls. I think we already knew. Pork cutlet or pork, I think he likes the pork bowls. And he's tiny. He's 5'4". He's tiny.
He's not the smallest of the guys. There's a chart with their height. I think the smallest person in the class anyway is Mineta, and then the second smallest guy is Tokiyami, who is also really quite small, and then I think it's Deku, if I'm remembering correctly.
And we learn that Hatsume likes steampunk, and she's 5'1". And I just find it funny that she forgot their names. I think she apologizes as well. Deku is still traumatized by the boobs. He's shy. Ochako is also shocked. Ida introduces himself, arms flailing, saying she used him for advertising at the sports festival, and she does not care at all and just turns away. Deku appeals for help from Power Loader. He wants to develop his costume, and suddenly she's very interested and she's very close. Power Loader says it's fine for her to come a lot to the studio now that she lives close, but he threatens to banish her if she keeps going wild. And then they go inside the studio, and Deku comments that it looks like a secret base, and Ochako is blankly holding a drill with all of her fingers, so it's going to float away. And she's so vacant, it's creepy. It's like, what are you going to do with the drill?
Her angst. I think this is the first time. Is this the first time that we get hints that she has feelings for Izuku?
Yes, I think so.
We don't see any moments of Ida reacting to the boobs because,
Ah.
I don't know, maybe they haven't developed sexual feelings for robots yet. It's not in this program.
He's probably like, you guys are falling down in the hallway. I just love it. He's like, no running in the hallway. It's like, really, Ida? Like, relax a little, loosen up. That should be his task. To be a pro hero, you need to, like, pull the stick up your ass out and chill for a second.
No one else is even in school now.
Ida's always at school. He's always ready. And I love the next bit. Power Loader has a license to work with costumes, and we kind of learn the nitty-gritty, and, like, Horikoshi's thought a lot about this as well, which is so cool. That basically you can tinker with small stuff, and you just need to report the changes to the design company, and they do the paperwork. Major changes, you need to fill out an application, design company does it, and the government needs to approve it, which is kind of like the government is kind of enforcing it. So basically Bakugo can't go something like, I want to have an atomic bomb. There's some limitations for what you can do.
Like it can stop people just creating things and they end up being villains, but...
And Power Loader says that it usually takes about 3 days to get the new costume because their design companies are really good. I think so. I thought that students designed their costumes, but I guess it was a design company? I always thought it was fellow students, like, higher up.
I don't know, because we learn... it's later on in the episode, I'll get to that bit. We learn who designed his Izuku's uniform, isn't it?
Oh, we do?
Yeah, his mum designed it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He did, like, the basic thing of it. Because I know in the manga we've learned that Bakugo and Ochako have the same person designed their costume, and that's why they have, like, the 2 grey circles on their costume somewhere.
Yes, and there's... Who has the same... Mineta has a similar belt to someone else. I can't remember who, and that's because their costumes were designed by the same people. Oh, I think it might have been... But he has the same... a similar belt as someone else. I just can't remember who it is right now.
Deku asks, he wants to reduce strain on his arm ligaments. Power Loader says, oh yeah, you fight with your fists and fingers, right? I can do some tinkering with that pretty easily. I just love that, like, even now we're starting to get, like, little hints of what's going to be revealed later in the episode. That, like, oh, it's like, oh yeah, you fight with this stuff specifically. Like, you're limiting yourself to this.
I'm impressed he remembers.
I know! All the teachers are so good. Like, they're all, like, goals for teaching. Because, I don't know, I swear anime has made me, like, feel more for teachers than anything else has. Because we have the great teachers here, and then also Assassination Classroom, Koro-sensei is also teaching goals. It's like, I don't want to be a teacher, but if I did, I'd want to be like these guys, because they're all good teachers. Anyways, that was a teaching rant. Mei is feeling Deku up, and Deku is horrified. She says Deku is more solid than he looks, and she insta puts him in armor. A baby-powered suit.
I'm glad he didn't get like a... It wouldn't suit his character, but I'm glad Horikoshi didn't give him like a little nosebleed or something while this is going on.
Oh, thank God. That would have been so annoying.
He's too nervous to get any gratification out of it.
Yeah, he might just faint instead. And we learn that the suit reads contractions of muscles and supports your movements. It's baby number 49. And Deku's just like, I just want arm supports! And he turns his head, and when he starts the machine, the torso starts to turn as well, matching it, thinking like, oh, he wants to turn. But only his torso turns, and it starts to, like, twist his back off. And she stops it, and she's like, oops, I made a mistake with the operational limits program. And she apologizes as well, laughing. And Ochako is worried about Deku, which is cute. And again, Deku reiterates he just wants arm support, but almost got his torso twisted off. And she just brushes it off, saying, "Oh, we could just use it as a capture item."
I love all May's bits, but I did not buy her apology at all.
She just says it because she knows she has to, but it's not like, I guess it's not genuine, but she just instantly moves on. She apologizes, and then she's like, now, like, it's still awesome, I'm gonna keep moving on. Like, she's very energetic, and I love May a lot.
I wonder how much sleep she gets.
Not a lot. I think...
But yeah, she just goes straight on to the next thing.
I saw, like, a little, someone's headcanon thing, or, someone did fan art or, like, something where basically, what's the what's the guy who's brainwashing guy?
Shinso.
Someone had a fanfic or, like, a art thing of Shinso basically be, like, making her go to sleep for a bit, and being like, go to sleep for 8 hours. And that's, like, the only way she can get her sleep. She's the bunny from the Energizer commercials. Oh, and then Ida whispers to Power Loader while looking at May, going, "Can you strengthen my cooling device in my arms?" And May just appears back to back with him, and she insta puts on this, like, jetpack booster thing on his arms, and Ida is not having it. It's baby number 36, and Deku and Ochiko start to edge away. And Ida's like, "I don't need this. I just want to change. Like, why is it on my chest?" And she goes booster on and launches him into the ceiling as they all scream. Ida's like, "My Quirkus!"
I'm glad he didn't break the ceiling. Just go flying through.
Just blast off. This is Ida blasting off again. And Ida insists, "My quirk is in my legs, though." And I guess this is another kind of hinting that Ida's limited to just using his legs because that's where his quirk is. Deku's quirk is all over his body, but he's just using his arms and his fingers mostly. And I also like that we see that she has gloves on, and the gloves that May's wearing, her index finger is free, which I like. So I guess, like, she can use that if she needs to get, like, touch-sensitive stuff or something. I don't know. Oh, and then she says the silliest thing ever that somehow I managed to be relevant. "If you want to cool your legs, run with your arms."
I wonder if she had replaced the word run with something else. I don't know if it would have it maybe wouldn't have been as stupid. Like if she had said, "If you can't fight with your legs or something, why don't you use your arms?" But it was specifically the word run that was a bit stupid.
I guess it's a bit stupid, but it also helps to kind of, like, hit Deku over the head with it, because it's like, I don't know, it's just funny. I love that May is allowed to be a goof. And Deku starts to realize it, and Power Loader interrupts that realization by saying, "Sorry, she's self-centered to a fault, but treasure your relationship with her if you want to be heroes, because you'll be calling on her once you become pros." And we see the huge pile of stuff she has, and she's made that in 4 months, and that's how long the series has been going on for, 4 months, besides, like, the time skip forwards at the beginning when Deku gets buff. And he says Hatsume is special, and I just love that she's Iron Man, basically.
In some of the stats that Horikoshi gave out, he gave May, I think, for intelligence, I think she's got 5 stars. But Momo is even more intelligent than her, because she got an S.
Ooh.
So she's beyond the stars. So May must be so clever, but Momo is still just much more intelligent.
I guess, like, May is making the stuff, but then Momo is literally, like, creating stuff, and she needs to know the, like, basic constructs of everything if she wants to make it. She's basically, like, Full Metal Alchemist level, like, alchemy of knowing what, like, everything is level. She's a genius, and I guess May's just, like, slightly less genius, but still, like, amazing.
I guess she's more of a creative genius, because Momo's not, like, she's creating things that are already about. She's not creating, like, new weapons and things that she's just thought of. It's all like she's getting the design plan from somewhere else.
Momo's a 3D printer. She can create demos for her.
She is a 3D printer!
But she doesn't use that at all. She only does, like, she does pipes, and she does, like, the dolls, and, like, she's done, like, the blanket before to stop electricity. But she's very straight-laced. She needs to start thinking out of the box and make crazy shit.
She made a cannon, didn't she? At the when they arrived, she made that big at the.
Mm-hmm. But I think, like, that's still something that's, like, pretty traditional. She can make anything. She should start making. I don't know what she would make, but I think it would be cool. And I just want to reiterate that if May is not in the new movie, where the movie is literally about people who make hero tech, I'm going to be so angry. Because her whole thing is hero tech, and she's not. I hope she's in it. That's like all. Literally, someone please spoil me and tell me if May's in the movie. That's all I want to know.
So you don't have, so that you can go in there not waiting for her to show up.
Yes, exactly. And we see that May laughs as she works because she's so happy all the time. And Powerloader says a quote: "Common sense is a collection of prejudices. Common sense is a collection of prejudices acquired by age 18," said Einstein. It just makes me think: did Einstein have a quirk? Like, what year did quirks start? Because Einstein, I looked it up, was born in 1879. He died in 1955. So, like, was there quirks then?
It can't have been if they said there's only if it's only been like four generations. If it's only, I think it's only been like 4 or 5 generations. So it can't be. But I like that he's quoting May quote Einstein.
And she's unafraid of failure. She's always thinking of stuff not bound by existing ideas. Deku flashbacks to all the stuff this episode, as well as like kind of the fight, All Might fighting. And we also get Gran Torino telling him, "Your admiration for All Might and sense of duty are shackles." And Deku also gets really close to Ida, and he goes, "Teach me!" And Ida's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about, but we haven't made any progress with their costumes." Like, what's happening? And I guess he wants Ida to teach him how to fight with his legs.
I don't think we've not seen Ida fighting with his legs ever. We've just seen him running. I don't think have we seen him kick anyone?
I guess the Stain fight, he tried to, but he got taken out pretty quickly.
Yeah, like maybe in their training they've seen him.
And Ochiko says that Deku's face cleared up, and Deku wonders what she's changing, and she says she wants to control her nausea more. And May appears behind her as if summoned, and she's holding basically a barrel of dynamite.
It just looks like a barrel, doesn't it? What's she gonna do with that?
And Ochiko correctly asks, "Is it going to blow up?" And then it promptly blows up. And May apologizes with a smile. I guess maybe like the gas from it would help with nausea, or like if you get nauseous, it'll explode, so it'll scare you into not being sick. It doesn't really make any sense. Probably genius in some way. And then we cut to the students practicing. We get Todoroki doing both flame and ice at the same time. Zero is making as much tape as possible. Shoji is seeing how far he can extend one extension, like making copies on top of that. Hiroshima is just punching a wall. Suyu is meditating.
No, she's turning opaque.
Oh, she's camouflaging? Ah.
Yeah, because we see what her... I don't want to spoil it for non-manga readers, but she's turning opaque.
I did not notice that at all. That's cool.
It's very subtle.
I didn't even notice that in the manga. I need to step up my game. Kaminari tries to talk to May, but she's just shaking her head. This will be important later for anime watchers. And Jiro has some new gloves, which is kind of cool. And Mineta has anal beads.
We've just lost our PG rating. No, I just wrote ball string.
Mineta has some form of long bead string. And we see that he's still eating a lot of sugar. And Ida is running, and Ochiko's floating. She's almost throwing up. And then they cut to 4 days later.
Oh, we saw, we didn't see Tokiyami, but we saw someone in a cave. And then there was a banner saying, suppression in progress.
Oh, yeah, I wonder what that was.
Yeah, I think it was Tokiyami just being in a cave trying to learn how to control Dark Shadow.
Ah.
I only thought that because where it says suppression.
That makes sense. So he's practicing complete darkness, being in control. I guess he also needs to practice being near light and having it still able to do stuff. And 4 days later, All Might visits again. Deku has a new hero outfit with longer gloves. He got braces to reduce the strain on his arms. Mineta says, "Oh, you should have changed your whole look." And it's like, you are wearing a diaper! You are not allowed to say anything about anybody's costume, ever. You're wearing a diaper. Ugh. And Deku says it's fine, and we learn it's based off of what his mom made. She made a little tracksuit for him. So I don't know if he used that exact thing or if he just made the thing look like it. I guess it was probably based off of it.
Yeah.
And Tokoyami we learn he's covering himself with Dark Shadow, and it makes up for his weaknesses in close and physical combat. And he calls it Abyssal Black Body! And Midnight says that's too hard to say, and it's best to have an ultimate move that's easy to say. Eraserhead says everyone now has their own styles, and some even have several ultimate moves planned out. And Bakugo makes a focus blast with just part of his palm with AP shot, armor piercing shot, and he does an evil laugh, but I think he's also might be kind of trying to imitate All Might's laugh. That also sounds evil, so I don't know.
We don't hear him laugh enough to know.
Whatever he does, it's evil. And we get a piece of stone starts to break off and fall towards All Might, and Bakugo yells out, "Watch out!" which is cute. And Eraserhead starts to act. All Might looks up in shock as he's about to be crushed, and Deku leaps to the rescue, and we flash back to Deku asking if he can be a hero. All Might looks up and smiles, and he's so cute, and just like, oh, it's just a good face. He's so proud of him. And Deku yells smash and breaks the boulder into bits with his new brown and red shoes. I love that he's keeping the red. And we hear Deku think to himself, All Might usually uses his fists, and Deku had been subconsciously thinking he had to do the same, but he doesn't. Bakugo is shocked, and Deku says it's simple. If I'm worried about my arms, I'll just use my legs. Iron Shoes, he does one for all, full cowling, shoot style. And yay, he figured it out. And I just love that, for the whole series, we've always gotten, shots of Deku's feet, his red shoes, and his feet have always more been, that's what made him quirkless, the pinky toe not having that extra joint was a sign he was quirkless, and it was kind of a little reminder. But now he's taking his feet back, that his feet are now a sign of that power and fighting, I guess. That might be me reading a little bit too much into it. Oh, and I wrote out some stuff for the opening. The ending. The ending I find is a little boring. It's nice, but still very much Deku running. And then I like the shot of we get All Might and Deku walking, and Deku and All Might's kind of flipped upside down, as with buff All Might and Deku in the background. It's kind of walking away from the past, kind of.
They're always much more subdued, though, aren't they? The endings, a few of the ones that we've had of all, they're just they're usually just still shots, a collection of still shot images.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And do we want to talk about the new opening at all? Did you make any notes on that?
The only notes that I noticed is there's more Bakugo in it with All Might. So before, when there were scenes of All Might and then Izuku, it would be just them. But now there's the scene of All Might with his back turned, and then there's Izuku on one side and Bakugo on the other.
And I love the switch from it fades out from All Might's hair to Deku's bunny ears in his outfit, and we get 3 really quick flashes of characters that I don't even recognize being a manga reader. But I guess there'll be new stuff we'll see during the test that I'll be oh, now I remember who these are. But there's one guy who has really freaky teeth. All Might gives Deku a push forward. We get to see the color schemes of a lot of characters who we didn't know what they were going to be. And there's also just some random dude being afraid of one of the students we'll see later. And just he's not even a student. It's just a random dude who's just put in to look scared.
I wonder if he's one of the guys that not one of the volunteers, but one of the civvy people, I think, that take part in the exam.
Mm-hmm. Probably. Oh, true. But he didn't, okay, not going to say anything because that's a spoiler for anime people. And we get to see, a lot of stuff that right now doesn't quite make sense yet, because we don't know who any of these people are if you're anime only. But we get a very cute Ochiko, we get Ida reaching a hand out, oh, they're friends. And we get a really cool shot of Endeavor and Todoroki both looking coldly forward. And that's going to be important later as well. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, but everything's important. And we get Bakugo looking sadly at All Might's back. We get a cute Deku smile. And we get a cute class shot at everybody. And Todoroki and Bakugo are both facing away. And Hagagura is framing Deku with her hands.
I felt like there was much more packed into this opening than before.
Yeah, there's so much going on. I guess there's a whole lot of characters that they got to introduce, so they might as well put them. And I find I can't remember. I remember some characters, new students, what school they go to, but other ones I'm I have no idea if you go to the one school we really see.
I like it. I don't think it's too much packed in, because when you watch it with each episode, I guess you'll see things that you hadn't noticed before, and that's always fun.
I think it's good. Go beyond plus ultra. You gotta say it too.
Okay, do you want to go again?
Sure, okay. Let's go beyond
Plus ultra.
Yay! I'm gonna make it a thing.